Hello everybody, Mannix here. Vertical slash up and down versus horizontal slash side to side play in folding knives. Blade play. Long story short, blade play is when the blade in a folding knife is able to move while in the open slash locked position. Now, the two different kinds I just mentioned, vertical and horizontal, are generally caused by completely different conditions. Vertical play, or up and down play, moving it up and down this way, up and down. Hear that clicking? That is because this knife right here has a little bit of vertical play. Side to side would be this way. Same thing. Pivot play. The pivot screw or pivot pin, whatever's in there. There is some movement between the washers, the bolster area, and the blade itself. There's a little bit of room for that blade to move. It doesn't have a rock solid lockup. That is side to side or horizontal play. Going back to vertical play, it's not this way, it's this way. This is often caused by the locking mechanism, either the locking mechanism itself or the way the blade is matching up with the locking mechanism. The timing could be off, the geometry could be off for either the tang of the blade or the locking mechanism itself. Maybe it could be both. There's many different reasons as to why vertical play may be occurring in your folding knife. But short answer, vertical play is caused by the lock, and then horizontal play is just caused by the pivot tension. Now, horizontal play is the good form of play because you can adjust it out, assuming you have a screw, not a pin. You can simply tighten this, and then the tighter you get it, the less room there will be for the blade to horizontally move. Of course, the disadvantage to that is usually at a certain point, it may get too tight that you will not be able to flick the knife open anymore. And then if it's way too tight, you will not be able to open it at all. So you have to find that happy medium between good tension on the pivot, as well as not having too much blade slop or blade play. Now, vertical play oftentimes is not adjustable. It doesn't matter what we do to this pivot area right here. It doesn't matter how hard we crank that down. It's not going to completely eliminate the vertical play that this knife has. Not even by touching the blade or touching the lock at all. It has room to wiggle when I shake the knife around. It rattles because there's a gap inside of there. There's something's off. Either the timing's off or there's a little bit of space in there. It's not a rock solid lockup. That's where we're getting that vertical play. It means we don't have a completely tight lockup. Now, how bad is that really? I used to be very picky about blade play long time ago when I was first getting into knives. I thought it was basically the end of the world with a folding knife if it had some wiggle room in there. These days, now that I look through most of my knives, even knives that are, mid-tier price ranges, oftentimes they do have a little bit of something. There's a little something wiggling there if you really crank down on them. Some more than others, but generally speaking, folding knives of all shapes and sizes don't lock up like bank vaults. However, it doesn't really matter either. What are you doing with your folding knives? Do you need them to lock up that tight? The short answer is generally no. We don't. I don't. Anyway, most of us don't. Leave a comment down below if you're the minority on that, but too much up and down play can be an issue. It means the knife may not be safe to use, again, under harder circumstances. If you're really doing some harder work and you're in a position where if you accidentally put a lot of pressure on the spine, that's negative force, you spine whack it, it could disengage on you. Up and down play basically is a warning sign that the locking mechanism might disengage on you under very hard work. Most folding knives have a little bit of blade slop in there if you really crank down on them and really try to find them. But even then, you could have a knife with blade play and not even know it for many years and just never have any issues with it. When it's really obvious, and particularly on bigger, heavier, bulkier knives, that's when it becomes more and more of an issue. That's when you want a more rock solid lockup. With an EDC knife, something lightweight, something slim, something simple, it's really not that big of a deal. But that being said, it's still not locking up 100%. There is still an issue there. It's not a good thing. I'll leave it at that. Horizontal play, is also extremely common, but again, our knives typically don't need to lock up like bank vaults for the everyday tasks we're doing. Even for defense, oftentimes we don't need them to lock up that well. We just need them to be good enough so they don't disengage on us. Even knives with blade play oftentimes won't disengage on us despite the blade slot. But that being said, it's not a good thing either. Side to side, again, we can adjust this out. We can tighten the knife and then we'll get rid of it as long as we can comfortably open the knife to our personal liking. Then everything's all well and good. Bottom line, horizontal play is from the pivot tension. It is adjustable. Vertical play is from the locking mechanism and often is not adjustable. Unless you're a handyman, you can fill out the contact points and somehow adjust the mechanism itself. Maybe you can fix it, but anyway, that is it. Horizontal and vertical play, the difference. Does blade play bother you? Does it bother you to the point that you don't want to use or even keep the knife anymore? Or have you never had any problems despite having knives with blade play? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe, hit that little bell notification if you do not want to miss weekly knife and gun videos. Mannix out.